All right, welcome back to CTV Morning Live. Brenda Hollingsworth joining us once again, a personal injury lawyer for Ask the Expert. And we have had some questions asked during the commercial break, so I do want to get to some of those. And the first one is going to come to us via email. I believe Tracy emailed us in. And so the question, I think we're going to get it on the screen. After notice of discoveries, when does the mandatory mediation take place?
Right, there are rules about timing, but the truth is there is no hard set schedule for when these things take place. Typically in my office, we will schedule the discovery, and then about 5 to 6 months later, the mandatory mediation. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of things you have to do between discovery and mediation. Usually there are undertakings that you have to answer. These are things that you didn't have or didn't know at discovery. You have to chase down the answers. If I'm going to get an expert report, that's often when I'm going to do it between discovery and mediation. So we need time to let that happen. Is it sometimes longer than 5 to 6 months? Yes, it is. Part of the difficulty is that we're dealing with multiple lawyers' busy schedules, and that can be frustrating for clients. You know, it's been 8 months, it's been 9 months, but it's just sort of the nature of it. I mean, we've talked about how long this thing takes. Lawyers always want it to go quickly, but things just do take time. And that's in the personal injury context. If the emailer is talking about a different type of case, the timelines might be different. But 5 to 6 months is typical in my office.
All right, when we're talking about timing right there, I think we have another issue that may come into timing right now, and I do believe that we have a caller on the line. Are we available to speak with that caller? Okay. Good morning. I'm not sure exactly your name, but I do know that you're calling about April. Okay, April, you're on the line. April, what's your question for Brenda?
Hi.
Hi, April.
Hi, I have a son who fell 5 stories to the ground 2 years ago, July 8th, and I'm wondering if he's going to be. He fell from the Ottawa Community House.
Were you able to hear that?
I think so. I think the question is that your son fell from Ottawa City Housing, and you're wondering about the timing, if you're going to do something about it, how much time you have. For most people, the time limit for starting a claim for a personal injury is 2 years. So 2 years from the date of the accident, or 2 years when you discovered that you were injured and that you would potentially have a claim. For children, I'm not sure how old your son is, but I'm going to assume that he's a child. For children, it is typically 2 years from his 18th birthday. So his the day before his 20th birthday is when you would typically start the claim. I don't recommend waiting until your 20th birthday. It is difficult to collect evidence. It's difficult to gather information. Probably you should talk to a lawyer sooner rather than later, so that you can start the process and at least preserve the information that you're going to need later on when you do advance the claim.
So hopefully, April, hopefully we had the information there, because it is very different because of what happens with children and the growth, and lots of different things, as you've found over the years, it really affects children differently.
Oh, yeah.
2 years, it's a different story.
Right, and the other reason they have that is because once the child's an adult, then he or she can make a decision on her own or his own about proceeding with a claim. So it does affect children differently, and it's hard to say, what implication is this accident going to have on their livelihood, for example, when they're in grade 2. But, there's lots of reasons. But 20th birthday, absolute cutoff, but it's always a good idea to get on it right away.
Always interesting information, and it's interesting because we have a lot of questions. It usually is after the show when people come in with a lot of the questions, and it's nice for us too to know that someone had contacted you after and asked the expert, and you've just settled the case. Yeah,
we get lots of clients and calls from this segment, which is fantastic. But yeah, yesterday, just as I was settling a case, the client said, "Oh, I'm so glad I saw you on Ask the Experts and I called." So that was a happy ending just yesterday.
Well, it's wonderful to hear, and hopefully you get the information and then follow through. I know the website is a key, and we always talk about the website as well, www.askbrenda.ca. That's the website. You can go, tons of information. You can always email info@ottawalawfirm.ca, and the location, they are located at 1443 Woodruff Avenue. Brenda, always a pleasure. Good luck with everything. Enjoy the summer. I know 2 more days. The kids are out of school for you as well.